Do you know that place? That place when you start a new relationship and your partner seems absolutely perfect, but after a few months you are starting to get out of that haze and you start noticing things which might not be as perfect? That's the perfect metaphor for handhelds, especially for this guy. You remember this guy, it's the Trimui Brick. I did a first impressions video of it just a few days ago. And just like my comparison, you know, the original haze has passed and I've started being steady with this little guy for quite a few days now. And I've discovered the Trimui Brick more intimately. And some things are amazing about it, while others are outright disappointing. But if there's one thing for certain is that you need to know about both of them, both the good parts and both the bad parts. And this is what this video is all about, so just to plagiarize Russ a bit, sit back, relax, grab a snack and drink, enjoy yourself, and let's talk about this thing. But before I continue, my dear nerd, I just want to say that this specific Trimui Brick was provided to me by the nice guys at LitNXT. So, if by the end of the video you like this little guy, you can get it from the link in my description. This also helps the channel as well, but it's very important for you to know there's been no money exchanging hands. Nobody saw this video beforehand. This video is 100% my own, these thoughts are 100% my own, so whatever you hear in this video, know that this is coming from me. And with that out of the way, let's figure out if this thing is actually good or not. I'm gonna start with the good stuff about it. First of all, this is an amazing handheld for the price. There's really no better handheld in terms of build quality at this price point. That's vertical and small, I mean, because people will tell me, but Vlad, the RG406V is better. Yes, that's better, but that's also more expensive. As I said in the previous video, we need to concentrate on the price point that this one reaches, and we need to compare it with stuff in its price category. And for that price category, this mother flipping thing is a top dog right now. This feels, if it makes any sense, not plasticky, even though it's kind of pure plastic. I actually had the impression that this part is metal. Now, I did say this in my first impressions video. Now I'm not so sure about it. It might be just cleverly made plastic that is made to look like a slab of aluminium, but this whole handheld, there we go, this doesn't seem plasticky. This doesn't feel as if it's made out of plastic. It's just tightly integrated. It feels like a whole cohesive unibody unit, and you simply don't get this at this price point, which makes this one of the best vertical handhelds. But wait for it, I'm not gonna praise this the whole video. There's actually quite some glaringly bad parts about it, which I also need to cover. The back buttons are actually removable. I didn't say this in the first video, and I should have. And you actually get spares right out of the box. You see all of these? These are different buttons which can replace these because these just come off, and you can give your back buttons a whole different feel. This kind of attention to detail is something that makes this handheld, in my personal opinion, stand out. But there are a few problems here, because while we have a huge variety of buttons, I'm not really sure that a lot of them are actually comfortable. Look at how nice these look. They look like freaking ZPMs from Stargate Atlantis, if you know that reference. They look like glowing quartz crystals. This is something that I simply love about it. I am so superficial with this, but sorry not sorry. This is an aesthetically pleasing mother flipper right here. If I were to whip this out on a bus or train with these bad boy lights turned on, I can just imagine that girls sitting next to me will be like, oh my god, I need to talk with this guy. He has such a cool handheld, I want him to father my children. Okay, that might not be the case, but we'll never know. But anyway, these buttons, and I mean these ones in particular that I have on, aren't the most comfortable because they are meant to be inset with the body, and when you press on them, you don't press them fully like this, you press the edge like this, so you always have an edge digging into your fingers, if this makes any sense. But thankfully we have a huge variety of buttons. In order to pop them off, you just have to put your nail under them, and then we get to put or mix and match any other type of buttons. These are the ones that it came with. They are very low profile, very nice feeling, and actually these are more comfortable than these ones. These look sexier, these are more nicer in the hand. We also have more flat transparent buttons. These are a nice middle ground between these two. Then we have these ones which are also transparent but a bit more rounded in the corners, so your finger doesn't hit that edge that I described earlier. Then we have these ones which are solid gray and very similar to the first ones that I showed you. I don't think these are necessarily the most ergonomic, but you can definitely tell R2 from R1 and L2 from L1. And lastly, we have another solid pair of buttons which are very rounded, and I think these are very comfortable and very easy to push when you don't see them because you're looking at the screen. But I'm gonna stick with the ZPM Stargate Atlantis crystals because the whole handheld is made to look fancy, and by golly, that's how I'm gonna use it, as a little fancy handheld. Even though this might not be the most ergonomic out of all of these options, it's good to know that we have the liberty to mix and match. I mean, just look at how many there are. It's like we have freaking Legos here. I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. Choices are freaking good. You can have them in every combination, just pray to your deity of choice that you don't accidentally mix them up. Now, the battery life. Look, the battery life on this thing is best described as solid. Since I had it, I only charged it once, and I've been using this as if it was my only handheld and I just discovered retro games. I've really put it through its paces, which led me to discover some other things. While the battery life might be immensely good, I don't think you would have problem with it. There's still some bugs in the software that people must know about. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this might be the reason why Trimui postponed the brick up until now. For example, Dreamcast. Dreamcast is simply not properly configured. Whenever I try to boot something up, it just boots to the Dreamcast BIOS menu, and that's it. No game actually starts up. And while this can be mitigated, this can be fixed via RetroArch, I doubt a lot of people would want to dive into that. The good news, however, is that CrossMix OS, the most popular custom firmware for the Trimui Smart Pro and soon to be for the Trimui Brick, is kind of around the corner, so even if you buy this today, you can, I would have peace of mind personally knowing that CrossMix is on its way. Nobody should stay, I might appear a bit harsh here, but nobody should stay on the stock OS unless they really don't have a choice. And thankfully with these kinds of handhelds, we do have a choice. Now, LitNXT will also sell this Trimui Brick with CrossMix already pre-configured, but you don't have to wait for specific stores because you simply don't have to. When CrossMix is out, you can just go to their GitHub, take a card, whatever card you have, and flash it yourself, configure your ROM library, your BIOS files, and all of that good stuff. And you can make a dream handheld out of this. So it's good to see this as a sort of future handheld with a lot of potential. But besides the Dreamcast thing, there's also quite a bit of other quirks which I didn't like. For example, I don't have actual RGB controls over the freaking LEDs, or at least not that I found out. You see, in an ideal scenario, I would want to set these to solid white, as well as this LED over here and these two buttons over here. But I can't. You only have two modes with this stock software. You can have it follow the theme, meaning that the colors change, the RGB colors change depending on the menu. Let me just prove this by going to something to... How the heck did I make it change colors before? You see? Now it's yellow. If I go to Pico 8, which is more gray, now it changed. If I go to PlayStation, now it's green for some reason. I am not a fan of this. I am a simple man with simple monocolor needs. I would just want this white. It's white. Make these damn things configurable. Give us an RGB slider or something. Thankfully, again, CrossMix is around the corner, so... And yeah, the front buttons are also green. The camera might not catch this properly, but all of these buttons, they work together. All of these RGB lights work together. When it comes to the hardware, there's a lot of things to love here. Like I said, customizability of the back buttons. The screen is freaking gorgeous. I cannot understate this, my dear nerds. The screen is the best part of this handheld. It's that simple. The screen is like the medium at which we stare until we get tired. And as we stare, if the screen is sucky, we will basically latch on to those imperfections until our passion for whatever specific handheld disappears. Well, I'm here to tell you that this screen is amazing. It has no backlight bleed, the color reproduction is exactly as it should be. I love the screen. This screen is amazing. It's 3.2 inches of outright bliss. I just wouldn't want it different in any way. Maybe for the bezels to be aligned. Thank you, guy on YouTube, you know who you are, which pointed out to me that the bottom bezel is bigger. I swear I didn't notice it until you said it, and now I can't unsee it. But it's still nice, you know, it's still one freaking gorgeous screen. Just don't latch on to imperfections like these, don't be too OCD, and you're gonna love this handheld. But when it comes to the hardware, there are two things that simply cannot be fixed. One of them is the Dpad. You see, dear nerds, this Dpad is the perfect chameleon. At first glance, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the poop out of it. It's hard, it's precise, it's very easy to do diagonals on it. It passes something like the Contra test with flying colors. However, the Dpad is small. It's actually considerably smaller than what we have on the Mio Mini and Mio Mini Plus over there. I think, yeah, you can see this with the naked eye, and look at how my finger is in proportion to the Dpad. But I could live with the smaller Dpad. The problem is the stiffness. The stiffness is what makes this, I think I called it a chameleon Dpad, because at first you're gonna love it. It has a clickiness to it, which is outright beautiful. It's cute. It's refreshing. You feel very in control with this Dpad. Unless you play on it for more than 20 minutes, then your finger will start to feel the hurt. The thing is that you always have to put pressure with your finger to control this Dpad. And while this might not be a problem for some people, if you play more than 20 minutes, your finger will get tired. Mine did, and this is simply something that I never experienced with the Mio Mini or Mio Mini Plus. Well, this Dpad is actually on the opposite side of the extreme. This one is borderline mushy and ultra soft, and this one is actually quite tough and rigid. But again, this is a preference thing. I loved this at first contact. I just realized this after using it for a while, but this might just need a breaking in period. It's simply way too early to tell whether or not this is a permanent thing. Having so many handhelds that I have now because of having this channel, I realized that a lot of D-pads soften up as they are used over a few weeks or even months. This might very well happen with this one as well. Now, if you want to buy a brick, I still think you should. This is one of my most recommended handhelds actually. I am so in love with this that for the first time ever, despite me hating e-waste, I think I'm gonna get all the colors of this little guy. And yeah, the last thing that I want to cover, because this video is getting super long, is the edges. Look, these edges, they are quite sharp, and that's why it's called the brick. If you ever saw a brick, have you ever seen a brick with rounded corners? I don't think so, and in case you did, the person selling you the bricks is mocking you. That's not how bricks should be. This, however, I personally love that they are sharp, but my god, can you do some damage with it. Allow me to demonstrate. This is a notebook, right? This is the brick. Dun, dun, bum, bum, bum. Now, I'm not sure that you can see, but imagine any other handheld doing this. When it comes to heat, this also gets quite a bit warm right here on the top part. I assume this is where the SoC is, and whenever you really crank it through its paces, you can feel quite a bit of warmth there. But thankfully, your hands will be right over here, and your finger will be right on the buttons here, so you won't really be affected unless you particularly touch this area right here. This actually gets way less warm than the Trimui Smart Pro, so I wouldn't worry about this. This is just a thing that some people, some overly worried people might be a bit bothered with, but it shouldn't stop you from enjoying this handheld. As far as performance goes, it's actually quite the little overachiever. Not only do you get to play basically anything that these Linux handhelds are able to play, this meaning up to PSP and Dreamcast, you also get that extra little performance headroom, which you can use for things like rewind and shaders, like the one that I have here. Isn't this a beautiful freaking shader? Look at those beautiful distorted scan lines. So you get to enjoy, I would say, retro games in a more enhanced way. God freaking hell. Wait a second, I need to do this before I continue. There we go. You get to enjoy retro games, not just Pico 8, in a more enhanced way than on something like the Mio Mini, which, even though I love with all my heart and I recommend this any time of the year, you don't get to use shaders on this. This has just enough performance to get you playing up to PS1. This technically can play up to PSP. You have PSP here, and the Mio Mini, no matter how much I love you, dear Mio Mini, you will never be able to do this. Your potential is limited. You are simply not good at this. Loser. But this, if you want to play Wipeout Pure, you can. Granted, it's not the best experience, you will have to do a bit of tweaking, but it's totally possible. Just look at me here doing my thing. Heck yeah. It plays very, very well, and remember just how small this is. This is a 3.2-inch handheld. It's somewhere between the Mio Mini and the Mio Mini Plus, which I have the coat on it, I didn't take it out. But here's a quick size comparison for you. You see? Now, granted, if you want the bigger screen, the Mio Mini Plus is still an option, but this is a very good middle ground, I would say. And last but not least, the one thing that makes the Trimui, whatever Trimui, from the Trimui Brick to the Trimui Smart Pro, amazing is the freaking standby time. You see, I don't have to close this. Right now I'm on Wipeout Pure. I don't have to close it. This is what's beautiful about it. I can simply just press the button. It goes into one of the best sleep modes. Actually, you know what? The best sleep mode that I ever saw on Linux handhelds. As a point of reference, the standby on this thing is somewhere between an Android device and a Steam Deck. So you can conceivably use this for days on end, just put it in standby, do your day, and then when you come back from your business, you can just continue. This by itself is something that makes the Trimui Brick and the Trimui Smart Pro, but we're talking about the freaking Brick now. It makes it in a league of its own. So, just to wrap up my thoughts here, what should you do? Should you buy it? Should you not buy it? I said some pretty discouraging things throughout this video. I also praised it. Vlad, you're all over the place. Make up your freaking mind. What do you want? Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Every handheld has defects. It's that simple, my nerd. You have defects as well. I have so many defects. Handhelds are the same. It's good that the honeymoon period with the Brick is over, because I was able to convey all of these defects that it has to you so that you know what you're getting into. But it's still, in my own opinion, because I'm also biased like all of the YouTubers out there, don't let anyone tell you that YouTubers aren't biased, they are. I personally think it's still one of the best freaking handhelds to buy if you want a pocketable, vertical form factor. It's that simple. It does things that no other handheld does, and for that very reason alone, you should get it. I'm gonna leave some links to LitNXT. They are the ones that sent me this unit, and quite frankly, I fully trust them enough to refer them to you. So, if you want one, get it from my link in the video description. It also helps the channel out because those are affiliate links. I get a small portion so I can caffeinate myself for new videos. But at the end of the day, if you have handhelds that you're happy with, this is also just your daily reminder from your sweet Vlad nerd here that if you're happy with what you have, you can also stay happy with what you have. This is not a hype train. I'm not FOMOing you. I'm just saying this is very good for what it wants to be. Of course, you can always sell your handhelds so that you get this one and all future handhelds that come after this. Maybe in this way you will find that inner peace, that inner perfect handheld that you hope will bring you the happiness, the retro happiness that we're all seeking in this niche. Or maybe the whole model is based on us, not being happy with the ones that we get, so we buy a million others. Who knows? Who am I to say? But seriously now, if you plan on getting a vertical, get this. And get it from my link. I would be grateful. But don't get it if you don't have to. This is my overall message. In any case, my dear nerd, this is all from me this time. I've yammered for 34 minutes. I'm gonna hate myself editing this. I love you very much in the meantime. I hope you know that. Imagine how much editing I do just for us to talk. This is how you know you are here. Wait, I don't think you can see. Here. Not in my boobie, but in my heart.